All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone to our Williamsport City Council meeting. It is Thursday, February 29th, 2024. We're in Train Transit 2. Please rise for the invocation by Councilman Biter, followed by the flag salute.
Lord, we pray for your wisdom as always. Help us satisfy the needs of our community during this meeting. Strengthen us as we make tough decisions. Please guide us so that we can be productive, effective, and decisive. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I'm going to announce following the meeting, we're going to have a brief executive session to consult legal counsel on matters of personnel and real estate. Item 3, approval of city council meeting minutes from February 15th, 2024. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Hearing seen none, I'll call the roll. Mr. Allison?
Yes.
Mr. Mackey?
Yes.
Mr. Pelizzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Katz?
Yes.
Mr. Biter?
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. Passes 6-0. Item 4, limited courtesy of the floor. We've had no requests tonight. Item 5 is being postponed at the request of the owner. That also will coincide with item 16. Both are conditional uses. So we're gonna hold off on those specifically for a future date. That was advertised on the front of the building as well. Item 6, we have an ordinance amending Part 15 of the Fire Prevention Code, specifically Article 1521, the fee schedule, and this is final reading. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. I'll welcome Chief Ungst up here. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Council President Yoder, members of council. Before you is the ordinance to amend the fee schedule for the fire prevention. So nothing has changed since the last meeting.
Thank you, Chief. Any comments or questions on the ordinance in second reading? Hearing seen none, I'll call the roll. Mr. Allison?
Yes.
Mr. Mackey?
Yes.
Mr. Pelizzi?
Yes.
Mrs. Katz?
Yes.
Ms. Mealy?
Yes.
Mr. Biter?
Yes.
And I will support as well. 7-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
We'll move to item 7. We have an ordinance for MS4 stormwater update and first reading. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Mr. Scott, I'll welcome you, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, members of council. I believe you have the red line draft markup of the updated stormwater ordinance with your packet. As you may know, this is a U.S. Environmental Protection Agency requires all municipalities to update their stormwater ordinance to be consistent with a model ordinance developed by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for municipal separate storm sewer systems, which is MS4. The ordinance deals with issues related to complying with the federal Chesapeake Bay regulations and the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, NPDES. I've been working with the my friends at the Williamsport Sanitary Authority pretty much since I started in October. We've had many meetings in November, December. We worked through the update. We submitted a revised ordinance on December 22nd to the EPA. We received a response on January 19th, which pleasantly to our surprise, they had no comments. We'll take that as a big victory. To submit a document 100 some pages long to a government agency and have no comments is a first in my book. So the next step is tonight is the first hearing. The second hearing will be at the March 14th council meeting, and then this has to be resubmitted to the EPA by the end of March of this year. I asked Wendy Cheryl and Mike from the Sanitary Authority to be here tonight. If you have any further questions or comments regarding this.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Welcome to our neighbors at the Sanitary Authority. If there's anything specific you'd like to add, I'm happy to open the floor to you.
It's pretty cut and dry. We've enjoyed working with Mr. Scott on getting it done.
Awesome. All right. This did not go to a committee, I don't believe. Are there any comments or questions from members of council on first reading here?
Council President Yoder, it did go to a Public Works Committee first. Back, when was that?
Oh, that's right. It didn't get this cycle. It went like a
A
month
couple
ago.
weeks ago.
That's
Couple weeks
right.
ago, went to committee.
That's what's messing me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mrs.
You weren't at that meeting. Yeah.
I'm really losing it. All right, Bill, would you like to summarize the?
Yeah.
Committee's comments?
Any members of Public Works, anybody that remembers the conversation, anybody have anything to?
I don't.
Mr. Pelisi?
I just, to my understanding, to my knowledge, Mr. Scott, Mr. Miller, these updates have no shape or form, will not be impacting any of the fees amongst implemented with Williamsport residents, businesses. There will be no kind of financial impact. Correct? No increase of financial
You're
impact.
correct, sir. No increase, no decrease.
Yep, I want to make sure everybody knew that. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pelisi.
Uh-huh.
Any other comments, questions, Mr. Biter, then Ms. Mealy?
The question that I have, while the fees may not be changed, what is the impact if, say, a resident of the city wanted to do some new construction, wanted to pave their driveway that was recently stone, anything like that? Where are they going to see an impact from this new MS4 plan?
I'm going to turn that one over to Cheryl Trapak and Wendy, who are our technical people. They love to read rules and regulations. So she should be able to help
Thank you.
give a little help.
Thank you. Good evening. Yeah, so for homeowners or for residents or property owners who may want to do development or redevelopment, it's going to give this ordinance, which is a combination of the current 2012 ordinance that is already effective, and a model ordinance that the DEP is requiring everybody who has this type of permit to incorporate into their ordinance by 2024. It's going to take those two together. So it really gives the property owners some additional information in terms of how to go about creating a stormwater management plan, what type of plan you need, what type of approvals you need. So basically that's the information that they'll get. More detailed information about how to do erosion and sediment control, and also how to in the future, when they have a stormwater management best management practice, how that best management practice needs to be maintained and operated.
If I can ask a follow-up question, Mr. Nar, then, with the codes department, are they going to be the ones going out and enforcing this? Are they going to be checking the progress of the property owner when they are making these changes?
What happens is when someone applies for a land development, like commercial development, it automatically goes to the stormwater authority. Eric Smith-Gall reviews it, makes sure it's in compliance that way. As far as if they want to actually make changes, if a homeowner comes in and wants to do those things, a lot of times with a minor, we'll take a look at the stormwater ordinance. If it's something that's minor and it's not going to affect it, we review that in-house. Bill Scott will take a look at it as well. So they're all basically the two avenues that we utilize.
Thank you.
Ms. Mealy?
But pretty much what you're saying is, for the average homeowner, for instance, it's not likely to really change the process at all. And it doesn't sound as though the process is changing, particularly for commercial development either. There are just some additional resources available that I'm assuming might in future come with some additional requirements, but have not particularly yet come with additional requirements. Yes, so certainly much of it has not changed. What changes on the city's end is the ability to enforce the ordinance. So it's a lot stronger in terms of being able to make sure that anyone who has a BMP or is doing work that will impact stormwater flow needs to do that properly and make sure that that enforcement is more specific and penalizes that property owner more, essentially.
And obviously, managing stormwater is in all of our best interests, especially given the recent strong storms we've had, and making certain that we don't have an event, something more catastrophic in the city.
Absolutely.
Eric, I'm sorry if I interrupted you or line of thought. Okay. Then the only other thing I was going to say is that it is exceptionally exciting to me. Well, I always tell a story. I had a friend years and years ago who was an intern at the Nation, and her job was to think up conspiracy theories. The rule of thumb was that if it involved government agencies cooperating, then it wasn't something that ever happened. It was simply impossible right from the get-go. So it is super exciting to see the city and the water authority working together and accomplishing something and getting it done pretty timely. Thank you very much, Bill. Anyway, it is good to see a stormwater plan coming together. I think that we, or hopefully coming together from what I'm understanding. Randy and Bonnie and I, have been on the stormwater train for a long time, and it took a long time to make this happen. I think is a positive step for the city, and is a positive step for the region. And we're really excited that the Stormwater Authority has come to fruition. And I'm excited to see that people within city government are working well with the Stormwater Authority to make things simple for our citizens. Thanks, guys.
Here. Any other comments or questions on the ordinance changes? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, I'll take the roll. Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Bider,
Yes.
and I support yes. Motion passes 7-0. First reading, Mike, team, thank you for being here. Thank you for your partnership and your work on this. Bill, thank you as well. We'll move to item 8, resolution awarding construction services for the Brandon Park Band Shell Rehabilitation Project to Lundy Construction Company Incorporated. Is there a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Scott, I'll open the floor for you again.
Yes, asking for permission to pass a resolution to award Brandon Park Band Shell Rehabilitation Project to Lundy Construction of Williamsport in the amount of $567,900. If you may remember, bids were opened back in May of last year. Of course, Lundy Construction was the low bidder. There was another bid, M&R Contracting, for $615,000. I think it's a win-win to have a reputable local contractor, be the responsible low bidder. I've talked to Mr. Frank Lundy. They are eager to start as soon as the weather breaks, which looks like it's happening hopefully soon. They would like to get started hopefully, April. This will be ongoing through the summer to get this done. The work will involve painting, structural repairs to some brick structural components, and some bathroom upgrades. Councilwoman Katz, you had asked for a funding breakdown at the Public Works Committee meeting on Tuesday. I have that for you. So the funds are going to come from $250,000 through Community Development Block Grant funds, $109,000 through the First Community Foundation. Lycoming County is going to give $20,000. And then from the city, we have ARPA funds in the amount of $143,575. And Act 13 funds in the amount of $45,325,000.
This did not go to committee. Mrs. Katz, then Ms. Mealy.
Of course.
It did go to committee. When you broke this all down with everything, is that covering the total cost?
Yes.
The one thing that I didn't ask at the meeting was, I was asked about the handicap elevator.